The connections page is used to link up name numbers with one another. Let's say we have a big company as a client, company ABC. This company has two subsidiaries, company D and company E. This in effect is a parent-child relationship. Company ABC is the parent company and the other two companies are child companies. Keep this in mind. Now, we have all three of these entities entered on our system, which means each of these have their own name number entry in the names area. When dealing with any of these entities, we need to know that they are associated with one another in some way. We need to be aware of this internal structure that they have, and we use the connections page to set this up. In my example here, I have already set up this relationship. I'm in my name entry for the parent company, company ABC. Notice on my connections page that I have my subsidiaries listed, company E and company D. More important though is look at the heading here. It says child records. So clearly these two companies are child records of my parent company, or put differently, the name entry I currently have open. Now let's open one of these child records and look at its connection page. I'm in the child record now, and notice how our parent company, company ABC, is listed here, and it is listed under the heading parent record. Great, so it's clear that we have child entries and which entry is the parent. Let's add another layer of complexity then. Company D has another child company called company F. So let's take a look. Let's start at the mother company and work our way down. I'm now in company ABC, and I will now go into company D by clicking on the building icon. In company D, on the connection page, we can see that company F is listed as a child company. This means it's a child company of company D, and company D is a child entry of company ABC. So clearly we can have several layers of companies listed and connected in the specific way that they are structured. So this makes perfect sense. Let's add another level of detail in the form of an individual. Part of the connections page is the fact that you can add individuals as child records as well. This is extremely powerful as it allows you to set up contacts for specific companies and scenarios on your cases. This will make sense soon. First, let's say that company F has a person there that we interact with daily with regards to accounts. Her name is Betty Betts, and we have Betty entered as a name entry on our system. On company F's connection page, we can clearly see Betty has been connected as a child entity. So let's stop here and recap what we have learned so far. The connections page is used to create associations between our name entries. We can have organizations or individuals set as either parent or child entries. By doing this, we can see how companies or individuals fit within other organizations or name entries at a glance. One important point to keep in mind, always try and select a record to be the main record or the mother company or the parent company of all other name entries when doing setup like this. And lastly, several layers of complexity can be built using proper setup. So we now know that Betty works in company F, and she is our contact when it comes to accounting. I want to have this information appear on our cases. I want to see who is our contact at company F as accounting address when working in cases. We can see this in my example case by looking at the Parties tab. When I click on the account address, I can see that Betty Betts is our contact person. She is not automatically linked, and you need to define this if she's not set as a general contact. To do so, you must add her to the party entry on the case. Choose Account Address and click Edit. The contact person can be set in the contact drop-down shown here. We can see that Betty was already selected. Great, so let's take this further. We have another person working at company F, and she is our main contact person for all correspondence. Remember, Betty is our account address contact person. This new person, Rita Ritz, is our main contact person where we send all correspondence, so correspondence address. Let's just compare the two entries here because they seem different. On Rita's line, we can see that she has an X symbol under the general contact connection column with an accompanying correspondence address name type. Betty does not have this. This X symbol simply means that we do not need to specify the contact explicitly on the case like we did for Betty. Remember, for Betty, we edited the party entry and made the selection in the contact dropdown. Rita is marked as general contact, so all cases with company F as correspondence address will have her as the contact by default. Let's see this in our case. I will click on correspondence address and indeed Rita is shown as the contact. Just to emphasize again the impact of the general contact tick box, recall that we had to manually set Betty as the contact via dropdown. But if I look in the same area for correspondence address, the contact is not set. So Patricia is displaying Rita's information because Rita is marked as general contact and we do not need to choose this in the dropdown. So some quick examples of where the connections page might be useful. Contact persons could be different attorneys working for a foreign agent, or different patent or trademark attorneys working for an industry or specific department. Another example could be a foreign associate that has multiple office locations or a company with multiple divisions or locations. So let's add a company as a child entry from scratch. We will add company G as a child company of company F. First, ensure that you are in the parent case. Click on the connections page, then click Add. The name connection window will appear. We need to add the name number we want to connect in the Connect Name field. I will search for company G by clicking the search icon. Next, we need to set the connection type. This defines the connection type to be either parent or child. We know that company G is a child company, so I will leave it as is. I'm now satisfied with my entry, and I will click Save and Close. My entry is added as a child record. Perfect. Next, let's add one more person as a child entry. Imagine a new person started working at company F last week. Her name is Franny France. Let's add her as per normal. Now we also have the option to edit specific settings of any entry. To access this area, click on the entry we just created and click Edit. Here we define several settings and we do this through the use of rows. Click on the Add button to add a row. First we need to choose the name type. Select the name type the contact should be connected to. For example, Franny works in the annuity department and she deals only with annuities. So I will choose the annuity address here. Franny also only works in the patent department, so I will choose patent in the case type dropdown. She's indeed a general connection, so I will tick this as well. Back in my trademark case, let's click on annuity address. Notice that we don't see Franny listed as an option, either in the name information area or in the contact dropdown. Why? Remember that we limited her availability to only be on patent matters, and we are in a trademark matter at the moment. It makes no sense to have her listed as an option because she only deals with patents and we marked it as such. So to summarize the video, it's quite clear how powerful this feature can be when properly implemented. If you want similar functionality set up in your environment, please contact your super user to assist.